Brightside Chronicles is about to go down with Kerri and Nana. You ready for the show to begin?
Hey, let's go. Let's get it. It's almost showtime. Let's go. Let's get it. It's almost go time. Let's freaking go.
What is going on, Mr. Nana Ajamin?
Hi.
I am having technical difficulty, so if you want to kick off our show,
Sure.
do me a solid.
So, whilst this amazing lady, Kerri Lewis, goes over to figure that out, Brightside Chronicles, what is this about? Brightside Chronicles is a 1 hour session every Thursday, ideally, from 7 to 8 p.m., talking about things that bring you joy, happiness, and really just shooting the stuff. Like I think that's really what it is. Like just getting to know people, what they are, like what brings you that joy, whether it's your occupation, whether it's your family, whether it's your hobbies, and anything that just lights your energy and brings you a sense of happiness is what we talk about on it. It's a positive space to just keep that mentality going and shifting the narrative of what we see on a regular basis. So there's my
I love
share.
that so much because I feel like, especially this week, with some crazy shenanigans going on. Now, I know I'm not privy to, but my social media feeds are blowing up. I think it's even more important to not only talk about joy and happiness and cultivating a positive mindset, but
Mhm.
also recognizing that in doing so, we are impacting the world. Like we're
Yeah.
impacting the future and giving people different ways to have a completely new experience rather than the one that they may be accustomed to or have grown up in. And so this is why this show for me in particular is so important.
Yes. Absolutely. And I mean, even with myself too, talking about, with what goes on throughout the whole week and days and things of that nature, it's nice to just get away from all that stuff and have at least a little segment where you just talk about life and just speak the things that bring you that sense of joy and happiness that it has done for this week. And there's been a lot of really good moments this week, in all honesty. There's been very, very cool moments that I've had this week, and you've gotten to be a part of it, and then obviously, friends, family, and people of that nature too. But what's a highlight that you've had this week, babe?
Well, right now, our
Mhm.
girls, Julie is having a game night with all her friends.
Shout out,
And for anybody
shout
who
out.
doesn't know, I didn't grow up in a home like that. And so one of the gifts that I really wanted to be able to bring into my own life, but also into our children's lives, is the ability to create a home that felt self safe for all their friends to come and be fully
Yeah,
expressed and show up as their unique individual self and have a good time. And so anytime one of our girls shows up and has their friends over, they're loud, they're boisterous, it actually brings me so much joy and pleasure because it's really a culmination of a dream that I've had for many, many years, and making sure that my girls feel connected enough
mm,
to us as a family that they can be 17 years old and want to hang out at the house.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. I love that the girls have their own ways of just how they like view that sense of joy, right? Because Billy, being obviously the younger one, just hang out with Estella today, which is freaking amazing. I was like, yo, good stuff for taking time to hang out with your friends, and then now Jules is hanging out with the friends at the house. I mean, it just shows us that like it's okay to like be able to just be a teenager, I guess you can say. So
Yeah.
that's a huge thing for them as well too.
Well, what about you? What's something that has brought you joy today? My amazing
Today,
this week. This week.
today, oh man, this week has been really good. Like, there's been a lot of positives. Like, I mean, I guess I can start off with today. Today's been very, very just like lackadaisical is the term for it. Just lazy, not doing anything because I'm normally on the go. That it's been very nice to just like I've laid in bed literally like 90% of the day today. literally cracking out watching anime because that's my thing. And then just like catch up with friends, respond to like you know memes and stuff that people send me. Shout out to all your funny ass people that be sending me funny shit that keeps my day going. And I, you know what? One of the highlights of my week is definitely been with the help of my amazing lady right over there, the Ask for Nana page. In all honesty, it's been freaking awesome because you've helped to really push that idea of what the page is about, and it's supposed to be about, you know, just my randomness of what I do with cosplay and whatever it is. And shout out to the amazing people that really have been like putting like reviews up, and it really means a lot because it's just genuinely friends that are of mine that just reach out to, and vice versa, even with Kerri helping out with the family and everything. So I gotta give kudos to y'all. Anybody that's watching this, thank you guys so much for supporting both of us with her journeys as well as mine. That's the other thing too. So I really appreciate it. But I have so much more that I
You know, that brings up something I shared with you a couple days ago, and I think that it's so important that we share with the listening audience because we have a really beautiful
appreciate it.
relationship and we're very connected, but we're still humans. And so I remember sharing with you, I had a moment of vulnerability where I'm like, babe, it's really hard sometimes watching you get all of this affirmation and stuff and all this
Yeah,
support and the work that I do with people, and sometimes I feel seen in the background. Now, for the listening audience, this isn't a compare. I'm not sharing this in a comparison. I'm sharing it because it is imperative that me and Nana have such an open relationship because then we can remain in joy and cultivate
yeah,
deep connection and have a safe space to keep it 100. And so I'm sharing this because I think a lot of people don't realize the reason we have such a deep and meaningful connection is I can be vulnerable with you even about times where maybe I feel unseen in our own
yeah,
relationship, or I feel
yeah,
whatever, right? Because I'm a human being and I have those feelings. And so I really appreciate the fact that I get to be the whole of me with you, even the messy moments of insecurity person with you, because that really allows me to have joy even in moments
yeah.
where I'm struggling more
Yeah,
than
and I
others.
mean, going back to your point of that is that you were vulnerable, right? So you were like, "Hey, babe, this is what I feel about," and I was like, "Oh man, like I wouldn't have been able to read that off of you." You know, what I mean, that's not I can't read minds like that. But I'm glad you let me know what was going on,
Yeah.
and in that moment, I was just like, okay, I understand, and I'm glad you let me know. And that's the biggest thing when it comes down to is the communication, like you talked about, is just letting this is what's going on. This is what's kind of got me bothered in a sense in that moment. But it was just a moment that you had, and you went through that motion of it too, which was amazing because you were like, oh, this is just a thing that's just made up of my thought process. It's just coming up out of nowhere, and it's not a real thing. It's not a comparison thing. It's just me, just you know, you just being
Well, also doesn't help I'm
yeah.
perimenopausal. So God bless any of you guys who
Yeah.
haven't gone through it or have, and you
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah,
about. It's a party in your
yeah.
mind. But no, but you know what?
Good.
But like, no, but seriously, there, but even in that night, right? Like, I think so often, part of being joyful is being
Mhm.
fully expressed and sharing your truth and feeling safe to share your truth at all times. And so often we have this made up story in our head that, oh, I don't know, if I tell Nan I'm feeling a little bit insecure right now, he's not gonna love me enough or he's gonna judge me. And in fact, the opposite is true as long as you find
Correct.
your safe
Correct.
person. Now, I do want to preface, guys, I work in mental health and addiction recovery, and you can have very volatile relationships, and that's not the type of communication that I'm talking about. I am more talking about when you're in a very healthy relationship. Part of being fully expressed and having a joy-filled life is being able to share in all of yourself, not
The
just
moments.
what looks
Correct.
pretty or joyful or laughter or whatever the
Correct.
case
Correct.
is,
Correct.
you know?
I mean, going back to what you're talking about, another really cool moment that I had this week, uh, is definitely getting the letter from the customer. So remember how I was telling you about
Mm,
the woman that had bought a
that
vehicle? So she bought a vehicle, obviously, and she just had a really good experience. She's had numerous vehicles from us, or being Will, my team leader. Shout out to him. And she just left me this amazing letter, and it was just like a letter of gratitude. And that itself was like, oh my gosh, like I just look at it as like I just helped somebody buy a car, but when it goes above and beyond in that moment, it's really cool to see that because you just never know how somebody felt in that moment until they express it sometimes. And sometimes you don't get to see that. In car sales, it's very rare that you get a letter of some sort of that because people are like, well, thank you for helping me buy the car, and then it's like sometimes you just depending on how cool you are with them, they might keep up or they might not. And I try to keep that line of communication open just because like I like the idea of just seeing people and be like, oh man, like how are you? How's everything going on your end? It doesn't have to even be about cars. It can be just like how's life going. And I'll remember the most random thing about it, like, oh, my son played hockey because you need room for more hockey sticks or whatever it is. Like stuff like that that goes a long way for like the line of communication and the bond that you share with people too.
Yeah, but I also think that speaks to the fact that you really love what you do. And this is
Yeah.
where I encourage people, if you don't enjoy what you do, I strongly encourage you to go find something that you love to do. And I know I hear it all the time. Oh, you don't understand. I got bills to pay. Oh, I understand
Hmm.
because I worked a job where I made close to six figures, over six figures. I helped build a huge company, and I walked away from that in a heartbeat when it no longer brought me joy because I recognize the power lies in loving what you do. And I
Yeah.
think that the your Google page going from one review to last I checked 41 reviews in 2 days
Wow.
speaks volumes
Like, shoot.
around the fact that you love what you do
Yeah.
and make an impression. And the same holds true for you showing up at cons and different
Oh my
characters
gosh.
and even at the gym
Yeah.
and doing different workouts because every area of your life you enjoy what it is you do within that area of your life,
Yeah.
you make an impact. And that speaks volumes. And that's really important because then you're more magnetic
Yep.
and you exist in a higher state of energy, a higher vibration.
Well, I love that. The higher vibration is a huge thing. People don't think about that, right? So, like, a lot of people kind of like, oh, well, why does he know so many people at cons? I know people at cons because I really keep up with people. Like, I really do. Like, I'm the type
Oh,
to
I
be
can
like,
attest, y'alls, because at night when we're cuddling and he's going on his Instagram and hitting up this person, I'm like, oh damn, dude.
yeah,
Like I get
I
it.
really do because of that line of communication. I don't want it to just be at like, oh, the con ended and then it's like that. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen it numerous times when I leave the con and I'm like, babe, now I got to send pictures to people because we took 50 plus selfies. I'm trying to figure out who's at name and things of that nature. And it is it is challenging. It is
It's a
very
full-time
challenging.
job to
Like
be like a cosplayer
yeah.
who wants to really
But that's the
connect
thing is like
for sure.
it comes with the territory, right? So like, there's people that are even way bigger than me and they probably deal with just about the same thing, but like I almost like don't know how they do it because I don't know if they're just like sending in pictures. Who knows? Maybe they just take pictures and then keep it moving. But like, there's some people that stick out more than others, right? So like, like I was telling about my friend Lorena, super super cool people. So like, we hadn't seen each other in like damn near 8 months, but like, she saw me right when I walked in, was like, "Yo, Nana," and I was like, "Oh, word! Like, I appreciate you." And this is somebody that has damn near 2.5 million followers. She's probably getting constantly hit up on message or whatever it is to be like, "Hey, yada yada yada." But she remembered the experience that she had and associated me with that guy. I'm the SpongeBob dude or whatever it is. But then there's more to that. There's more layers that you get to peel off. You get to know the person of like, hey, you know what? I want you at my video shoot. Can you make it? Couldn't make it, but I was like, I would have loved to make it just because I want to show support. And that's the biggest thing when you're in that higher frequency, you tend to get things that gravitate towards you in a positive light because
Well, you don't tend to, you definitely do. And that actually kind of leads me to the topic that I kind of, I feel compelled to bring up a little bit for the
yeah.
listening audience. So earlier this week, you called me and you were pretty tight because in trying to help a friend, you went to help another
Oh
friend,
my
and
gosh.
then that friend got scammed by the
Yep.
original friend.
Yep.
Here's why I bring this up on the bright side and joy. because you had a moment, much like I just shared with the listening audience between you and me. But the very next day, I mean, I hit you up at what, 5:36 in the morning. Hey, babe, how you
Probably,
doing? Well,
probably
I'm
six.
ready to take on the day. Let's go. And but no, this is really important for the
Yo.
listening audience to understand, because so many people bring their past into their present, thus
Mm,
recreating the energy from the past instead of just letting it go and keeping it moving.
yeah,
And you are really, really good about, okay, I'm going to feel my feelings, which is super important because you
yeah,
don't want energy to trap in you. But then I'm going to choose joy again. And I'm going to choose to continue to help people, even though once in a while things don't work out the
yeah,
way I had anticipated.
yeah,
And in doing that, going back to the whole Lorena and you having more joyful experiences, you stay in this experience that allows you to continue to attract amazing things to you instead of slowing the positive momentum by
yeah.
staying hung up on something that you can't change because it's in the past and it's already done.
Yeah, and it's so true you bring that up because yeah, in that moment I was just like I was like, damn, like I literally was trying to look out for somebody else and try to help somebody else, and it went against me. And yeah, I was definitely pissed off because I'm like playing off somebody's excitement and joy, and then not delivering what they had promised was just like devastating. And I felt bad for my friend that was trying to get the ticket, and yeah, a lot of moving parts. But I just had to understand that like there's gonna be some good that comes out of this. That was my thought process. Like, okay, this happened, and it's just like it sucked in that moment, but like who knows what happens within a month from now of like, maybe somebody gets to like um a ticket that they just don't need or whatever it is, or who knows. I just you never know. Maybe I win the lottery or something. You know what I mean? Like that'd be freaking hilarious if we put it out there, but you never know. So that's how I looked at it as like it is what it is. And yo, what up? Nah, that's crazy. That's I am grateful that you feel that way, bro. I appreciate you, and I hope you're doing amazing by the way too. And y'all can tap in if y'all got questions for us. Like we are more than welcome to respond. I know Babe's probably responding right now, saying thank you for
You got
responding.
it. You got
but,
it. But
but
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead. You're
Well,
good. You're good.
so that, here's the thing though, something that you said that again, guys, why am I so passionate about tapping into joy? Because in that you realize how powerful you are. And we really have been conditioned to conform and to stay in this humdrum of showing up and working 9 to 5 and buying a house, having 2.5 kids, like really. But in that, usually we're operating just from expectations and conditions, not ever really looking to see, does this serve me? And so as you continue to lean into what brings you joy, you start to
Mhm.
recognize how powerful you are. And even though, you have things in life that come up that don't feel so good, you continue to remain positive and you keep attracting more and more positive stuff because you're not just impacted negatively by
Correct.
the experience that you're going through.
Correct. 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 I think what I realize is that the mental space is a huge thing too, because you do that all the time. You do the whole like resetting yourself in the morning, whether you're doing your scriptures during the morning or if you're just like meditating as the day goes on. I think that's cool stuff that people don't really talk about. You know what I mean? And what I ran into your FedEx real quick, but I wish, dude, you can always reach out to any of us. You can even like hop on the show. Actually, you should definitely like. I'm gonna tap in with you.
Macholo
Yes,
1121. You were welcome to join us and have a party, or just hit up Nana on Instagram.
hit me on IG, and I will definitely send you a link because we would love to have people on here. I've been trying to get more and more people because Kerri does a great job getting people on here, but I also want to hold my end of it to make sure I can make sure people that I also am incorporated with are able to join these discussions because I think these discussions need to be had. You know what I mean? Like, and
Oh, so
go ahead.
let's talk about this because you bring up a good point, babe, and I think that this is really helpful for people. All right, here's the reality: we have a reticular activating system, prefrontal
Correct.
cortex, in your prefrontal cortex. It is a GPS device. And if you guys do not believe me, test it out. Like, honest to God. So if you set an intention in the morning, all right, my intention, honest to God, every day I wake up, I say my prayer, and then my intention is to be a vessel through which love can be fully
Yeah.
expressed and received, and to laugh a lot. I laugh all the time and am always presented with opportunities to show compassion and kindness towards other people. Nana can attest, whether it's somebody homeless or somebody just going
All the
through, or
time.
somebody who just needs a
All the time.
compliment, because I train my brain to look for the thing I want. And so, yes, Nana alluded to the fact that I have a practice in the morning. Nana wakes up and he listens to high energy music and comedy. He's like, no
That's
joke,
interesting.
guys. He'll be on the throne taking a deuce, and I hear him
Hey,
laughing.
yo.
I don't care. Everybody takes a shit, babe. They know,
Hey, that's a shitty
you know.
situation right there.
But you know what I mean? Like, but you're laughing. I'm like, I literally hear
Yeah.
between you and your brother, you guys have the most wholesome day. And you're like,
Yeah. Yo, because there be some like funny stuff that like
yes, I
people will
know,
send
but
me,
the
and I'm like,
whole
oh my gosh, this is freaking hilarious. Like, it's just it sets the tone for the day because like you just never know what transpire. Like, and I think there was a quote that says like, or some kind of like practice that if you look in the mirror and you smile, your day tends to be a lot more
yes.
better set up.
Mel
Before.
Robbins wrote a whole book, The High Five Habit. I did not read it, guys. I think that everything that she teaches is wonderful. I don't know why I'm not called to read her stuff, but a lot of people benefited from it. So I love that so much.
Mhm.
Um, all love. We got number
Yes.
love you too.
Shoot,
Macholo one
shoot,
one
shoot me
one.
a message
I
on
just want to
IG.
say Macholo. Macholo.
Shoot me a message on IG, please, so then that way I can tap in and then maybe I can send you a link and then you can be on the show for future reference because we'd love to have you there. In all honesty, but I get it. You
But,
gotta go do your thing.
but going back to what you were saying,
Yeah.
100%. So having practices will help you cultivate a more joy-filled life. Like,
Oh, without a doubt.
and it doesn't have to be the same practice, guys. That's the thing. Is like what brings Nana joy and it keeps him in a positive mindset is very different than what brings me
What
joy.
brings you?
I will straight up start spitting facts about quantum physics and neuroscience and be super excited like a kid. And he's like, yeah, babe. By the way, I'm gonna send you a Tupac skit.
Yes. Yeah,
But
that's mad funny because that's
it's so
literally.
true.
But I love it though because you know why? Is because the stuff that I love to talk about, you may not know it, but you listen to it. You know what I mean? And then I have friends that I can
100%.
regurgitate that to that know it more. And then the same thing with yourself. You have people, Yonko throwing it out there just to go from there, like that know it a lot more than I would ever know. You know what I mean? And it's like it's cool because we have our peoples that relate to it, but it's still great way to just keep that line of communication. Just like, hey, babe, look, I did this today. Just because it's just cool. I like to know what you do. Like it's the same thing which you like to know the stuff that I do. I mean, regardless of whatever I'm at or your cons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think you might
Well,
have.
and
Oh,
I
thank
and I
you.
also think, like, again, coming back to the fact that, guys, this show is all about joy. Like it really is, and I don't think that people understand that there's a reason scripture says have childlike wonder. When
Yes.
you are
Yeah.
open to all experiences, then you are limitless. Even
Yep.
today, right? So I was supporting a dear friend of mine and I had a beat. And he's like, I'm gonna try a beat and eat like being open to trying a new experience. You and me, and this is what
Oh, the
I love about
Brazilian
us.
place.
We will literally, oh, that place looks new. Let's go try this place and have a whole new experience instead of limiting ourselves. And then as a result, right, we connected with the
Yep.
host lady who had super high energy. The guy recommended some slapping
Yep.
steak that I will definitely be
Yep.
having again at a Brazilian steakhouse in Shrewsbury. Shout
Yes.
out. Um, Yeah, and so we just get to have new experiences all the time. Our life doesn't become this monotony of the same in and out, in and out. And I can't tell you how many times I connect with people, whether it's after a week or after it's a year, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on with you?" "Oh, the same old, same old." And I'm like,
There's
"Really?"
a lot
Because
that
I
happens. A lot that
all
happens.
more than like
So
all the time,
so I'm gonna use a
100%.
perfect another example, I guess. So earlier this week, my friend James and I we went to go watch the Demon Slayer movie on Tuesday, and we get to the theater. We've both never been there. It's in Methuen. It was beautiful. It looked like a palace. I wish I almost took a picture of it, but like the architecture in there, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Like, why don't they have this in Worcester? Like, they didn't have something like this, but it was just so crafted with architecture, and it was given like the Greek Parthenon type of vibe with like the sculpture and everything.
Mm,
But that wonder of that, even though I'm there for the movie, an anime movie, I was just like in awe. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. But then we get to go
yep,
watch the movie, which I absolutely loved. Like it was just so beautiful. I'm definitely watching it again tomorrow. So shout out to Demon Slayer, by the way. But what I noticed was that there was a couple of people that were dressed in cosplay. So I just walk up because I'm just that nonchalant person. I'm like, yo, we gotta grab a picture. And they're like, yo, like, thank you so much for grabbing a picture. It was like super cool because I told them I do cosplay stuff, and they're like, "Oh wow, you do!" And it was just really cool because I'm like, "You're doing the stuff that you want to." I'm like, some people were nervous to throw on cosplay, which you don't have to, obviously, just a movie theater. But the person that did, I was like, "Yo, shout out to you for being confident enough to do it." And they're like, "Well, thank you so much. I have friends that do cosplay," and I was like, "Oh, this is freaking hilarious!" Because we just started shooting the stuff about cosplay. So we finished watching the movie, and the movie was 10 out of 10 plus. So me and my friend James, we're literally heading back. But I don't even got to tell you this, but we're heading back. It says like 60 miles until empty. It's about like 58 miles until we get back to Worcester from where we're at. And literally,
shout
yeah,
out to James, you my
yeah,
people. I do that
yeah,
all the time. And Nana's like, if
nah,
it's halfway empty, filling it up. And I'm like, babe, let's get to the
nah.
least.
But you're gonna laugh at this. You're gonna laugh at this. So check it out. So we're like maybe like 15 minutes away, but like because we had the AC running, so it was burning more gas. So then we pull into a Cumberland's, and this is like I don't know, like 10:30ish, almost 11, and the Cumberland's literally just closes. And so we're like, James is kind of like a little nervous, and I'm just like, bro, we will figure it out. I just remember saying like the universe will guide us to where we need to be at, and that was a big thing because I think James knew, but he was just, just a little nervous because it is kind of nerve wracking. It says literally 4 miles until empty, and like we're a bit of a ways away. So he has a hybrid, and we use like the eco mode or the EV mode, so we run on the electric in a sense. So we're just going very slow. And I'm like, we'll get there. We just Googled one, and we found like a strip that had like 3 different gas stations that were open. It was like 6 minutes down the road from where we're at. It was just one of those like I knew we were gonna be fine. It's just I wasn't gonna put that scaredness of fear. And I learned that really from you as well, babe, in all honesty, because like there's numerous times where like the universe will guide us where we're meant to be at. And I really, really believe that. And I think it was really nice to show James, not that he didn't know that, but it was nice to be like, this happens all the time. Like, this is just, there's no way. Like, I was like, we're not going to get stranded here. Like, we're
Well,
not.
yeah, but that's because you believe. There's a really great book for anybody who likes spiritual scripture, but
Mhm.
biography of a yogi, and it was written by Paramahanda Yogananda. And I remember reading
Ooh,
this a long
the dude's
time
last
ago.
name. Can you say that again? Like, what's the tongue twister?
Yogananda Paramahanda, which is actually funny because in the book he talks about Americans struggling to say his name. So I get that.
Yogananda
But see,
Parananda?
here's the thing. So often our default mode of thinking is fear. So
Yep.
like for example, our daughter doesn't want to run on the street because it's a busy street and sometimes she gets afraid that something's gonna happen. Whereas me, I don't even think twice. I'm like, thank you so much, universe. I know my run. I always have a beautiful experience. And it is a busy street, but I'm not worried about it because I know that I'm good because I just know it. And in that book, and I have to tell you, I've read a lot
Yeah.
of scripture across all
Yep.
theologies, and all of them say an unwavering faith. So all you have to do is
Ooh.
just, I know I got it, and you
Yep.
really do get it. It's just that so often we waver and we're like, I want to step into this pool, but I don't know. And so there's not that unwavering faith where we're grounded in knowing that
Yeah.
everything's going to work out and the greatest good for everybody. But I do want to go back to um any experience. So I was at the courthouse for hours today. I had no
Mm.
idea I was going to be at the courthouse for hours supporting somebody.
Yep.
Right now, I could have been bored, but absolutely not. To your point where you walked into this beautiful theater and it was beautiful, I walk in the courthouse and I'm like, oh my God. And I said to my friend, I'm like, if Nanan was here, me and him would do a photo shoot right here on the court steps, because it's just a vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all like marble steps. So then as I'm walking up, I'm you know the song where you kick your feet up? I'm singing in the rain. So I'm having a good old
Yo.
time by myself in the courthouse with
Doing the
all
showgirl
these
dance.
people are super stressed out. And then after we have to come back in, and I start racing Tim up the steps. And when we got to the top, you saw all these people laughing. But like, it made the energy of the courtroom lighter. And that's the thing, is
Oh,
even
shit.
in the experience where I thought I was gonna be in there 2 hours max, I was there from what, 7 to
Yeah, you put a whole
2:30,
shift. They
three
should have put it
o'clock.
on payroll.
But the point is I had a great time, and the situation never felt heavy, and it was easy, and all of this. And so it just continues to show me that
Mm.
it's my perspective that's going to make my experience. It has nothing to do with
Mm.
where I'm at, what I'm facing, what circumstances unfold. It has everything to do with how I show up in
Yeah.
whatever's going on, and that's going to determine whether I remain in a joy and happy state, or whether I start to lean into negative energy, which is so often what we watch people unwittingly and
So,
unknowingly do.
cool thing that I picked up even today from when we were catching up would be when we were at the Spirit of Halloween, because I wanted to go find some cosplay stuff and things of that nature, but we got to be childlike, because if you think about it, right, you wore the Shrek headpiece, which is funny because your friend Tim was talking about the whole Shrek thing. So that within itself was
That's because he kept singing this
correct,
stupid
correct.
Shrek song.
But it
So I'm
was
like,
just one
I'm
of
gonna
those. It was
get
like,
you.
okay, then the Shrek thing had to be there, and it
Yep.
was funny because like we recorded a video of Shrek's do. Yo, that picture. So I'm saving that as your picture, your contact picture, by the way, just so you know. Like,
I feel like, nah, if
that
you're
is that.
gonna, it has to be this one.
Yo, that one is that funny, bro. Like, why is this a thing, bro? Like, but that was
Yeah, I feel like, but Donkey has such
yeah.
a,
It's
he's
just
so
it was just funny because like
happy because he's
yes.
busy being an ass.
But like it was just funny because that's like the whole being childlike, you know what I mean? Like that's like most quote unquote adults wouldn't go there and just be like, oh well, let me just be like a act like a 4-year-old in the aisle with like yeah.
We totally had a sword fight. I'm just saying,
What type of
people,
swords
it
though?
was
What type of
great.
swords? What type of swords? Hey
I mean, not the one
yo,
that would catch a case
hey
because we're in public.
yo, bro, I had to measure the meat and the metal. I mean the metal, the meat, the metal.
It
Yo,
wasn't the
relax,
meat
relax,
show,
relax.
not at Spirit
Relax.
of Halloween.
But no, it was just super, super cool because like, I know how much you love your skulls. So that was another reason why too, is like we got to see a lot of like stuff that like we both vibe with, you know what I mean? And I'm not even a scary horror type person, but like it was just a vibe when we're in there, whether you're looking at for, just regular stuff to just being a kid at heart at a store that, kind of fosters that idea. So I don't know. It was a really, really childlike moment that we got to have in that moment.
Did you always have a childlike
Ooh,
nature about you?
that's a good question. I mean, you know what? I think it was always there, but I had to limit it. As a kid, it was like it was almost perceived as like grow up. like you're gonna have to eventually like grow up type of thing. It was like just from outside influences. It was like, oh, stop being a kid, like stop playing video games, bro. Like video games are making bread this day and age. Like stop playing, literally keep playing. But like it was, it like I think as a kid I had it, but then there was a point where I kind of like became too serious with life, and it let me know that like that was I think
Yeah.
probably from like age like I want to say like from like 4 till probably about like 12. I was definitely more childlike ish, but then when it got towards like middle school, heading towards high school, that's when I kind of became more like serious in the sense of like I was locked in on whatever I wanted to do. And then obviously my early years of like working at harm or those were like I was literally just I'm here to just do my job to the fullest. But I think within the
Yeah.
past, I want to say like mm, 6 years or so, I just had to understand that like life is short, bro. Like it's literally like I have to do the thing that makes me happy. So like I went to like my first con dressed up as Dora the Explorer, and that kind of like tapped into the childlike innocence that I had, and it just let me know that it's okay to be this person. I can be, this very like driven person at work, but I can also be this person that also enjoys life outside of work. That's what led me to become more childish in the sense of like, I just do what I want now. I'm grateful to, understand that my perception is just my perception. I can't worry about other people's ideology of what they or who they think I should be. You know what I mean? But what about yourself? When did you?
Oh, I would. I mean, I I think I started to really not care after I was
Ooh,
fired from Starbucks, to be
reality check.
honest. I had I mean,
Okay.
it's come in waves, but I was always told I
Yeah.
was too much, and I was always told I was too loud, and I'm too emotional, and all this stuff, and so I numbed out with drugs, like, I just, "Okay, I'm too much." That's who I am.
Yeah.
I am loud, I'm boisterous, I'm so then
As
I
you should.
focused all that energy into achieving and giving my best to an organization, and when I had a moment, a car accident, they let me go after 13 years without even thinking twice, and so after that, I said,
Ah.
"Nah, nope." And I'll never forget, I purposefully within a week now, I could have collected unemployment, I could have done all that, but I was like, "Nah, no, I'm a perfectly capable woman. I can go get myself another job." I went and I dyed my hair black and purple. I put it up in a huge mohawk. I put on like this black
Yeah.
makeup. And I showed up for an interview and I got hired on the spot. And that was like the first glimmer that I could be hired for who I
Yes.
am without limiting
Yes.
myself. And it kind of I had to peel back the layers, of course, after that, and it's been a constant evolution into showing up fully expressed. But that was definitely a pivotal point in really deciding that at the end of the day, the only person I have to
Yep.
reconcile with
Myself.
is
Yep.
myself. And can I continue to look at myself in the mirror, going to work and conforming to how I think I'm going to be
Yeah.
accepted? Hell no. Because it was killing my soul.
I love that. And the funny thing is that I just thought of today was actually the anniversary of when I left Walmart. Literally, I didn't think about that.
You went left at 9/11?
It was just fell on the 30 days. It fell on the 30 days. I literally was like, because I remember when I started the manager position, I was like, let me see how this goes. And if I don't like it within 30 days, I'm just going to leave. But it was on 9/11. It was. And it wasn't anything bad against my previous employers. I love Walmart. It's just I just got to a point where it just didn't serve me anymore. And I was like, you know what? I got to go
Yeah.
to other avenues. But like today is technically 10 years that I left Walmart because it's going to be 10 years in
Well,
October.
let's talk
Yeah.
about that because that's good stuff
Yeah.
right there. You left when it didn't serve
Correct.
you anymore. So going back to I always, I studied neuroscience
Yeah.
and quantum physics, and I know that everything I experience is a result of my own internal thoughts and stuff. So I Now, no, I was fired from Starbucks because I should have quit years served me, but
Ah,
I was hanging on out of
ah.
fear, and so it happened perfectly. I also know that if something doesn't feel good for me, I'm gonna walk away right away now, because I
Mhm.
understand that staying in something that I've outgrown only does a disservice to myself, to you, and to really the collective, because we're all interconnected. How have you been able to cultivate that mindset of, oh, if I'm all set, I'm all set. I'm not going to stay. Like, did you always leave what didn't work for you, or did you just, nope, Walmart ain't it no more, and I'm just going to shoot my shot and see where I land?
I mean, I love this question because there's a quote by one of your favorite artists that you absolutely love. His name is Drake, and he said the quote, "As soon as I stop having fun of it, I'll be done with it." And I've always lived by that mentality of like, when I heard that lyric, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a great mentality," because like it's the whole, if it doesn't serve you a purpose anymore, you just have to eventually move on. But when it got to that point with Walmart, was I remember, well, I mean, I worked in the dairy aisle, right? I don't even eat dairy, but I just like the hours, in all honesty. Like, it was literally like 7 to 3, and I was grateful to have a managerial position in that moment, because I was like, oh, maybe this is like a little pay bump and see where this goes. But the more that I started doing the job, the more I realized how much I didn't like it, because I was trying to overcompensate, like work around people's schedules. Like, hey, you have this task, and sometimes people just don't do their job. You know what I mean? And it's tough when you're a goal driven person and you go by your regulations, but then somebody else is not doing their stuff. And it's not to talk bad about them, but it's just people don't hold the end sometimes. It's just, it is what it is. And so it got to that point, and then I was just like, yeah, this is not serving me. So what happened was I literally left Walmart, gave obviously my 2 week notice and stuff like that, and I just was like, you know what, this is just not working for me. I'm grateful to have gotten it, but I have to move on. And then I was literally jobless for about a month and a half, and I think I told you the story about like how like a lot of places didn't want to hire me because
Yeah,
I
because
didn't
you
have
didn't have
the experience.
experience.
Yeah, and I think that hearing those words, it just kind of put that like, okay, like let's get back to the basics and let's figure this thing out. What are we trying to accomplish? Like, what do you want in life? What are your aspirations that you want to keep pushing for? And I mean, one of them was literally like eventually move out of Washington Heights, which is the apartment um, that we lived in at that time frame. But it was just like saving up, and then I'm just goal driven, so I just want to be the best in my craft. Like, I remember when I first started at Heart, there was Michael Carey, Laura Lawrence, David Blaze, and myself. There's four of us on the same team. So on Will Briggs' team, and it was really, really tough to see because like they're veterans, they know their stuff. But I'm the rookie just coming in, and I was like, oh heck no, I can't. I'm not gonna be at the bottom. Oh, I gotta figure it. And I just remember just grinding and just learning the craft. And shout out to MC or Blaze, like they kind of helped me with the trajectory where I'm at now. Of like, okay, like this is how you do a rookie. Like this will help you set yourself up for the future if you do it right. And then here we are now. A couple years later, I'm the veteran now, and I'm guiding some of the rookies in a sense of when they really need advice. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about something you said to me, because you just shared with the listening audience. Not everybody wants to do their job, and you sent to me a little clip of Terry Crews talking about getting cut from
Oh,
Washington
oh,
and really struggling to reconcile with that, but then asking himself, how would I sweep this floor if I was getting paid $1 million? And I like you, I left corporate America. I left because I was sick, honest to God,
yeah.
of managing people who wanted to skate by, do the bare
Mm.
minimum, and not only do the bare minimum, but complain when they weren't being promoted and stuff. And so going back to what Terry Crews was saying, and this is the reason I bring this up, guys, for anybody listening. Part of joy, part of cultivating a really joyful life is giving 110% to everything you do.
Correct. Correct.
Everything. So if Nan and I show up at the gym, even on my worst
Oh my
day,
gosh.
even if I'm like, oh my God, I still will put in the reps. It may look ugly, it may feel hard, but I get it done. That's 110% that day because I got in the gym and I was able to do something. In terms of showing up for, speaking, I give 110%. I am present. And in that, I cultivate joy because I know I showed up fully
Yeah.
present and
Yeah.
aware. That creates a sense of joy and fulfillment. But when people just show up and just do the thing, the bare minimum, they're skating by. And how can they look at themselves and be proud of what they've accomplished? Even if it's just sweeping floors. Terry Crews could say at the end of each night, you
I
know
gave it
what?
my best.
I'm sweeping floors, but I swept that floor
Yeah.
to the best of my ability, and I'm proud of myself
Yes,
for
yes,
that.
yes. And I think that's the thing is, it's there's always going to be how do I say this, different lenses to look from, right? So if somebody has a goal of they want to be the best at their craft, they are going to figure out ways to get there. If somebody wants to be
Yep.
just getting by, they're also going to figure out how to just get by. Like it's just it, the math is the math. Like people are just gonna. Some people are just very overly driven. Some people are just underly driven, and it's not to like belittle anyone at all. This is not that, but it's just
Yeah. Our job
correct.
isn't to judge you, but our job is to give you information. And the fact is, what you plant, so shall
Correct.
you reap. And so, what you give out to anything is what you get back in anything. So, you and I give 110% to our relationship. I make sure that I
I appreciate
affirm
it.
you all the time. Thank you. And not just, oh, babe, thank you so much. Like, hey, I really appreciate you calling me out for saying something
Yeah,
or
same
not
here.
being present
Same
or
here.
whatever. Like, we give 110%. We both give 110% to our craft and business and servicing people the way in which we do. We give 110% in the gym. We give
That's it.
110% in trying new things. And because of that, the universe gives us
Shout
110%
out,
back in
shout out,
return.
shout out, shout out. Shout out to that because like I've seen it so many times where you'll be like, "Hey, babe, like I got a new client." I'm like, "Yo, good stuff." Like, and I know you work hard. I'm never worried about that. But I still always try to affirm and let you know that like that is not an easy thing to do because people are you're forming bonds with people and doing a service that yeah, you can get a simple medication for a fix, but you're like, no, I'm actually going to have to like literally like rewire your thought process with the help of what I do and the stuff that I put out there. You know what I mean? And it's nice to just be like, yo, like, good job. Good job. Give yourself the kudos, give yourself the credit for it because if you don't, like, who else is going to do it for you? You know what I mean? The external stuff only does so much until it gets to a certain point where you're like, okay, like, I got to internally.
Well, but that also goes to what I was saying. Terry Crews had to, like in that
Yep.
interview with Shannon Sharp. Shout out to whatever
Shay
that
Shay.
show
Shay
was.
Shay's
I
Breakfast
don't
Club or
know,
something like
but
that. Yes.
um, he had to look at himself and be like, "Yo, I'm coming from
Yep.
pride." Like he had to be honest with himself, and that is a prelude to joy. Because if you can say, I'm gonna keep it real, right? I saw an old high school friend today, and oh my god, like this man was trashing the mother of his children, and me being me, like I feel compelled. I'm like, that your external circumstances are a result of your internal dialogue. So whatever is unfolding, I would encourage you to take a look at yourself. And I straight, like, no joke, babes, I pulled up the
Yeah.
map of consciousness and I'm like, I will put money on the fact that you're pride. You come from pride.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I give them, but the thing is most people, it's a habit. They don't even
Mm.
realize that their focus is to blame others instead of look at where they
Cool.
could have done better or changed or thought through something differently. And them of this world. because you're empowered enough to take action. And through that, it's going to be more difficult to cultivate lasting joy. And I'm not saying you won't have moments, your kid's birthday
all the time.
party,
No.
a connection with, but I'm talking about that pervasive joy that carries you into a courtroom that you're at for 6.5 hours and don't
Mhm.
even get stressed about it.
You know what? That's such a. I mean, I think a profound way of saying that. Like, I guess I can't even put it into words, but like just the whole idea of just like the joy aspect of it, it just something about like okay. I mean, earlier today, one of my friends reached out to me because I'm doing the Where's Waldo thing. Remember I was talking about? And they're like, yo, that's such a great idea. I never thought about it. And I was like, well, no, that's understandable because most people wouldn't think about that at a con or whatever. But I was like, I want to do something that's interactive to get people excited to like see it. And this is a person that's not even going to the con. They're like, I can't make it, but I would have loved to be a part of it. And I'm like, well, there will be other cons that you can always check out if in this is like a test run to see how it's going to go. And I think I'll probably end up doing it again. But like for now, I just want to just test it out. But they were so excited to just see that. They're like, oh my gosh, like this is the thing that you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, why not? And they're like, because nobody's done that before. And I'm like, yeah, but this is like a regular idea. It's just like you just meet your friend and you just take a picture and just move on and go do your thing. Like you just have that moment with them. But I'm really excited for that because like it's just a random idea to just spur it up. And they're like, that's gonna bring so much joy to people. I was like, that's all it's about. Like that's what these cons and these events that I get to go to are supposed to be about. Like that sense of happiness of just meeting somebody that you haven't been. It's like a pen pal that you haven't seen in a while, and you just get to see him once a year. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it as.
Yeah, but think about it. So here's two things I want to
Mhm.
highlight for the listening audience that you can take away right now, right? One is when you're joyful, you have a joyful spirit, you are super
Yes.
creative. Stuff just flows
Yes.
to you. And Nana and I can be in the middle of a workout and all of a sudden we'll come up with a skit right off the rip. We don't plan anything. Like it's just like we're chilling, we're vibing, and then we're like, oh babe, let's do this, and this, and boom.
Yeah.
We created something. And that is how like joy manifests because guys, we come from creation, and guess what
Create.
creation wants to do? Create. And we are the vessels through which it can create if you're an open channel to do so. But secondly, and this is where you and I both execute
Mm.
well, we take action. Right? I said to you, babe, I have an idea for a book, and trust and believe I started writing that book. I Boom. I didn't stop to think about it. You had an idea, and then immediately you shared with
Shout out.
Becky.
Shout
Becky
out.
created a whole thing for you, and then you started putting in the pieces. And that is part of like really tapping into joy and this is where people get hung up at. They'll have a beautiful
Yes.
idea because we all have them. Then they plan the idea to
Yes.
death
Literally
and
to
it
death.
never is
Literally to death.
executed.
Yeah.
Literally, because they're like, "Oh, I have this idea, but wait a minute, I need to wait until
Nope.
this happens. I
Do it
have to
then.
get this prop. I need to make sure I do this research." And I'm like, "To hell with that. I'm just
Yep.
going to do it and know that it's gonna unfold as it's meant to." And
Well,
you do the same thing. And right before we jumped on, you were talking about the most recent Dragon Ball Z, right? And the things that we do sometimes they don't work,
oh
like
geez.
body paint. Who knew we had all
Yo.
over the car? We won't be doing that again. But at
Correct.
least we tried it and it was an experience. And even in that, I had a lot of joy
3 hours.
because like I can look back and be like, remember the time we
Oh my
spent 6 hours with
gosh.
pink paint?
Yo. And then 8 different showers trying to get the paint off of me. I'm like, and I still smell like whatever that faint odor was. It was yeah, no,
Yo,
it was
that
not
was bad. Can I just I'll tell you, I have always loved your pheromones. I will smell you from the gym and be a happy girl. But that day I
yeah.
was like, don't come near me because you
Nah.
are ripe and it is not
Yeah, no, that
you at all.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
gross.
combination of that mixed with the deodorant that I had and the sweat from the whole day. So it was like a yeah, it was a
No,
weird
it was
concoction of
disgusting. It was disgusting. Oh, shout out for anybody who's never been to a con and is going to your first con, bring deodorant.
yo,
I'm just saying
real stuff.
because
That is con etiquette.
I
That's
like, I
that's
you
con
know,
etiquette.
it's
Yes,
a long day in a
that's con etiquette.
costume, and I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I was smelling some really
Oh,
interesting odors when
it's
I
keeping your
was
nose
in New York
fresh. That's what it
City.
is. It's just trying to make sure your nose stay fresh. You know what I mean? But like, going back to the whole like, nah.
It was fresh,
But I
alright.
love the creativity part, right? So I realized that's how, like, when I'm at cons, the reason why I'm able to like do things on the fly is because that is, quote unquote, what you say, zone of genius, right? So I'm at a place that brings me a sense of happiness and joy. That's fostering my creativity. So I'll see something on the fly. I'm like, oh my gosh, we should do this. Like, just, and even like the perfect
Yep,
example was the one where my friends who are like bodybuilders, I've been wanting to do that for a while. It's just like I had actually reached out to Anime NYC to try to do a set meetup or whatever, and they said no, and the New York Comic Con said no, and I was like, man, forget it. I'm gonna just do my own thing. So like literally on some like Miles Morales type of shit. That's a quote by him, by the way. I'm gonna do my own thing, but literally, um,
and that's been my
yeah,
the
nah,
story of my
and that's
whole
real
life.
soft. But like
People
that, but like
yep,
literally
I'm gonna do
doing
my own thing.
the whole posing in the middle, that was more just because like it was just a random idea that just popped into my head, and I've been wanting to do it for a while. And I just was like, fuck it, we have this opportunity to do it now. Let's do it now. Get out of my thought process and have people have a great time. But that's what fosters that zone of creativity. It's a place of happiness and joy is where you feel like you tap into more of that when you're there. Where you're, if you're on the opposite end and you're going through life, you kind of are unmotivated, and it's just like it spirals down the other end of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, with 4 minutes left, what do you do when you do have those days where maybe it feels hard? What do you do to get yourself back into a
Oh man,
place
I
of
mean, I just
joy?
do the stuff that brings me happiness. You know what I mean? Whether it's like reaching out to my friends or, watching anime, because that's always a great reset. Or really, I just sometimes I'll watch, especially if I'm having like a slump at work, I'll watch the stuff that got me to where I'm at. Like I'll watch this one video that it basically talks about like how to sell cars. And that just kind of refreshes my button. And I
Yep.
mean, another thing is just taking time for myself is like big, because as much as obviously like I love hanging out with Babe, but if she understands that like Nala needs to data himself to reset, then that's feasible, and
Yep.
that's what it should be. That's a communication line that it should happen. Like, hey, babe, I'm gonna like be gone for the whole day. I'll reach out to you whenever I'm ready to reset. You know what I mean? But that's a thing. But what about yourself?
Well, that's the thing,
Mhm.
it changes. I was actually sharing with the individual today because that person, I
Yeah,
took them through a meditation to really ground themselves, and later on they needed to reground themselves, but they were humming. So they stopped humming and asked me to ground them. I said, "No, no, no, no. Humming is a
yeah,
vibration. We're vibrating." So it can be anything. And so for me, it's singing to my baby when I'm feeling a little crazy, and then I feel a little better because I know that you get me. Or
love it.
um, it, yeah, but it's here's the thing: it changes so much because I'm so open
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
whatever feels good in that moment. And so, what I would really encourage a listening audience to do is,
yeah,
if you're struggling,
yeah,
to tap into joy, keep trying
yeah.
things until you find the thing that brings a smile to your heart, not your face, because your heart, because that will lead you to more moments of joy. And lastly, before I sign off, I want to shout
Yes,
out
that was my big
Nase,
bro.
because he gave the girls and I 3 pairs of pants that
Yeah,
came
did they
from
fit?
Ghana, and I love them.
Let's go.
I'm like, "Oh my god, I could rock this hard." So shout out, and he also he
Yeah,
personifies
that's
joy as
big
well.
bro.
He's
That's
a
big bro.
very
Also,
jovial
side
person.
note, your nephew is in
Yeah.
your messages, by the way, on Facebook. So if you look in your message, your nephew's in there. So yeah,
Oh, hi.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I sent you a
like,
video
how do
of your
you know
nephew. You said,
this?
"Oh, you don't ever send me the videos." Look in your yeah.
Oh, I
Yes.
was so oh,
Look at the
good,
joy on
thank
your face
you.
right
I
there.
get to see Calvin. Well, you know what?
Yeah, yeah.
Family. Family brings me immense joy. My soul
Mm,
family, though. I don't tolerate none of this cheap tear me down,
No,
conditioned, oh, you're
it's the family that
blood-related
you make.
family. If you
You build your own family.
Yep, if you extend, I will extend, and if you contract, I will
And that's hard.
contract, and I will love you no matter what, but I'm busy taking care of my peace. Alright, what do you wanna say to the listening
Damn.
audience?
I don't really have much. In all honesty, I would just say I'm grateful that y'all still keep up and watch our shows, and I'm grateful to have the people that are
Yes.
gonna be on the show in the future, and the people that have yet to even know about the show. I'm really grateful for, because I know that we're doing some stuff that brings people the sense of joy and happiness, and that's all I can ask for.
And I'm gonna say choose love. In a world
Hmm.
where we see so much division, guys, it does at times take more
Yep.
work to choose love, but in the end, you'll know a much freer and more empowered life when you lean into love over